The four that I mentioned as being, I think, fairly core practices, namely cognitive, psychodynamic, meditative, and physical, particularly weightlifting, continue to be the ones that I touch in with most often. And for me in particular, one of the really strong changes I had was when I started doing weightlifting, which really wasn't until quite late into the game for me. I'm very tall, I'm 6'4", 6'5", and for most of my adult life I weighed around 170 pounds. And that's, technical term is cerebrotonic ectomorph. It means painfully skinny intellectual, is the translation. So we're basically just one big, neuronal center with a thin line of body nutritional support. The support system sort of barely dangling down under the brain. And what I found is that as I would sit and do writing and then sit and do meditation, it was ridiculous because it actually takes a lot of muscles to sit in one place and not move for a long time. So what happened really starting about 15 years ago, I really went on a really prolonged, just really systematic resistance training or weightlifting program. And over a very long period, because people that are skinny do have a hard time putting on muscle, but it can be done. And I went from 170 pounds to about 200 pounds. And it was a huge change for me, because even if you're sitting at a desk for 8 or 10 hours a day, you can circulate prana, you can circulate bioenergy if you're not constantly sort of not being able to hold yourself up really in a certain sense. And that to me was a big change, because I think like so many intellectuals or even meditators, the idea is you can sort of, the ascetic approach is just we're going to transcend the body, so let that sucker just waste away, we don't care. And it was a real change for me. It was, even though I'd been an integral thinker for a long time, I think it was one of the most important things I did in terms of trying to be a little bit more integral in my own orientation. It seems very simple and very almost prosaic, but it really can be quite profound. And that's remained a cornerstone. I think and I did yoga for 15, 20 years at first. I still do that. But I think a judicious combination of yoga and weightlifting really does help. And once you get yourself in shape, it's not much more really than 15 minutes 3 times a week. You really can keep what you've done if you do that. And the physiological markers, they really do, it's staggering. So much so that Bob Arnott, the House physician on ABC News, this is a very conservative doctor, in reviewing all of the research, including research done with people 70 years old, Emory University, lift weights for 6 months, and their physiological age markers go from 70 years to 58 years old. It turns it back 12 years. So he's summarized all of the empirical research to date by saying the old paradigm was aerobics is everything. Everybody thought you just sort of run. If you do, all sorts of disease markers start going up. I mean, long distance runners drop dead of everything at a high rate. The new paradigm is muscles are the engine of youth. So it sets in motion a whole series of physiological changes in the body that can be very, very helpful. And I think that's why it increases your capacity for concentration, and therefore you do Vipassana better, among other things. So that's been real important. I continue to do that. Cognitive, it might sound funny, because cognitive, a lot of people have a misunderstanding about cognitive. They think it means linear, logic, abstract thinking. That's an extremely small part of what cognitive is.